Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Successful Woman's Mindset. My name is Galit Ventura-Rozen. I am co-founder of Everyday Woman TV, author of the Successful Woman's Mindset, name of the show, and I am a commercial real estate broker. One of my loves is showcasing women from all over the world that are making a difference in empowering and inspiring women to live their best life. Today, I am excited to have with us my guest, Nicholle Overkamp. Welcome, Nicholle.
Thank you.
We're going to have a lot of fun today talking about your topic, which is building wealth and freedom. But before we do that, I want to share a little bit about you with everyone, and then we will jump right in and give everyone that's watching some great tips. Nicholle is a personal finance expert and business coach for women. She's the founder and CEO of Wilcox Financial Group and Powerhouse Money Coaching. She focuses on business coaching for ambitious women, wealth coaching, and educational programming. Her company was created in an environment that's progressive and client-centric with outstanding high-touch service. One of Nicholle's loves is to talk to women and show them how to build wealth and freedom in their life around money. So I'm excited to get started with you today. And I'd love it if you shared with everyone just a little bit about how does somebody really find their way to this type of profession where they're coaching women on everything that really revolves about their money, finances, and overcoming all of these obstacles that so many women have related to money.
Yeah. So I started, and I am a financial advisor, started in the more of the traditional world working for a big firm. And as I gained more experience and had a lot more interactions and conversations, I saw this like huge gap in the world as far as women who had these goals. They said what they wanted to do. They were super ambitious, but where they were and where they wanted to be was like this mystery space, right? Like, how do I actually achieve this in a way that makes sense to me, where it's simple, it is doable, and it's not completely overwhelming? Because the industry is famous for overwhelm, scare tactics, all of this information at once, like the verbal vomit strategy. And then we tend to get overwhelmed and shut down. And so a huge part of our founding mission in our company is to like create this world where women can come to us and know what it's going to take to get what they want and make it really fun. So it's so much of what I get excited about and really being able to create those types of strategies.
Why do you think, Nicholle, when it comes to money, so many women struggle with the idea of being comfortable with finding their way to having a lot, or even saying things like, I love money? That's something I do a lot. Well, I'll be on a show where we're specifically talking about success and finances and money. Not that I'm giving advice to it, but talking about financial freedom. And I'll say, I love money. And people start getting very uncomfortable about it. Yeah. Why do you think that is?
There's so many factors. I think one of it is just like this systemic issue around money. And like, for the longest time, women didn't even have control of it. Yes. Right. So, and we forget how recent that is.
Right. Oh my God. It's crazy.
Male co-signer for loans up until the 80s, like, it blows my mind. And so there's always this stigma around money and fear of judgment. And if I talk about it, what are people going to think of me? And if I say I love money, does that mean I'm greedy, or will somebody think, something other of me, or whatever the case may be? And so we have this like martyr mentality versus the ownership of, wait a minute, no, like, I love money, wealth is good. And oh, by the way, if I have more money, I can give more, right? So it's certainly a societal stigma, I think, that we're starting to overcome, but it exists, no doubt. And there's a lot of fear around it too. And I think part of that is really just a lot of misunderstanding, misguidance, and then how we were raised, what we heard our whole lives certainly plays a big role into that.
I completely agree. And I also think a lot of it has to do with the fact, aside from it wasn't very long ago where we didn't get to control our own money, but also so many women today are really in a position where they are supporting themselves, supporting their children. As someone that's been a single mom for, gosh, now what, 10 years of three, it was a world I never thought I would enter, right, Nicholle? So now is a time that's more important than ever to share the type of tips that you're going to be sharing today with everyone watching and listening on how to build wealth and freedom. And I want to touch real quick before we go into the building wealth part, a little bit into the freedom part, because I'm a big believer in money allows me freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Will you share a little bit about how you work with your women in coaching for them to really recognize how much money does equal freedom?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's funny because it's different for everyone, right?
Of course.
Just like the term success is relative and we forget that. We're always comparing. And so the question is like, what will make you feel free? Right? What does that mean to you? What is that definition? And for most of us, it's doing what I want, when I want, with who I want, right? And that's also why a lot of us listening right now, yourself included, I'm sure, are entrepreneurs, because we want to create that space. And so it's all about understanding what is your version of freedom, and then how can we reverse engineer to start to make that happen so you can feel that sense of security.
Nicholle, you're using all my favorite words today.
Oh, well.
Reverse engineering is one of our favorite phrases in Everyday Woman. Myself and my business partner, Angela, we use that all the time in our masterminds with our clients and our coaching, because know what you want first.
Mm-hmm.
Know what that definition is for you. I swear, I think in my last book, The Successful Woman's Mindset, I almost used the exact words related to success, because I have the word success in my title. And one of my first chapters is, what does the definition of success mean to you?
I love it.
So everyone listening and watching, I want you to do a little thing for me right now. I want you to, and if you're driving, because some of us listen while we're driving, don't do it now, do it later. But I want you to think about and possibly write down, what does your meaning of freedom mean? Because now Nicholle's going to start giving you some great tips on building wealth, but you've got to know what that means for you. What does it mean? Because then you can do what Nicholle said, which is retro engineer it to building the wealth. So let's go ahead and start in with some tips about building wealth. Again, different for everyone. So we're just giving you some tips that may or may not resonate with you. Grab whatever you think does and talks to you, but I'm sure we can learn something from everything you give us. Take it away, Nicholle.
So once you know what you want, right? Yeah. So what is it that is super important to you, and which sounds crazy. Not all of us, we don't think about it. We don't pause. And so do that. Just what you said, take time and write that down. And then once you know, then it's time to figure it out. So that reverse engineering process. So what's it going to take to get there? So some of us, it is, we know we need to earn X so that we can fund things like maybe taking our kids on a trip to Disney every year and not feeling guilty about it, paying off debt, or retiring, or helping our parents, whatever the case may be. So maybe you need to hit $500,000. I'm making this up, relative.
We're using it as an example. Let's pretend like
exactly.
Yeah, somebody's trying to reach $500,000 because they figured out what freedom means for them. I'm
right.
sure anyone listening would not have a problem with that, Nicholle.
Right.
But we're going to use that as an example.
So, hey guys, everything's figure outable, right? So,
right.
But if that's your number, then on the business side, what you need to look at is, well, does my current business model even allow for this to exist or not? So you want to make sure that you're not setting yourself up to fail, because when we do that, we immediately feel defeated. So you want to make sure that whatever it is that you're doing, it's achievable. And if not, what do we need to tweak? What levers do we need to pull to make it achievable, right? So if your business model won't allow for that, do you need to get rid of some things that aren't serving you, add something, increase your prices, grow your team, whatever the case may be, so you can hit that. And then make sure that you are understanding all of your numbers and setting money aside for yourself, that pay yourself first, the profit first part of it, right? And so understanding then beyond that, what do you need for each one of your goals or your buckets? And so the ability to have the discipline, the consistency, and then knowing where to put everything. I know this sounds vague, but it's also specific. So I'm trying to give a really good general overview of where to start, or even really where to ask the questions and look, right? And most of it is awareness and truly paying attention to those numbers. But then if you can build the routine, the consistency, paying attention, understanding that, it's going to snowball over time, and you will be shocked that a little bit adds up to a lot of bit. That was horrible English, but I'm a financial advisor.
No, but I totally agree. And I sometimes like the horrible English because it makes it so much more simple. Nicholle, someone like me, I come from a commercial real estate background. I deal with numbers all day long associated to properties, right? Yeah. But when I start talking to a financial advisor, my eyes get cross-eyed.
Yeah.
And people are like, how is that possible? You work with numbers all day. I go, no, I work with numbers related to a property that is very specific. So I love how you said that, because I think sometimes we do need it simplified, because a lot of us feel very overwhelmed when people start talking. I mean, seriously, my shoulders are tightening up right now. I swear, Nicholle, I'm so honest about that, because people look at someone like me that's doing so well thinking there's no way, Galit, there's no way. I said, no, I get a little bit cross-eyed. And it's funny because as an entrepreneur, I've got to go there. We're not always good at planning for our retirement because we don't have a lot of the typical programs that are offered to employees, right, Nicholle? Yeah. And we don't realize what you just said. We instead look at what's the immediate we have to pay for. What do I need for the next year? What do I need to put away for a rainy day in my bank account? But I'm not putting money away every month in something strategic that could possibly build this wealth for us. And I am a great example of that, because every month I have a certain amount of money coming out of my account, going into a wealth building account that I don't even notice is coming out of my account, because it's the same every single month. But we're not structured to think like that. What kind of advice can you give someone that would be like, wait, Nicholle, why would I put this much money away every month in this account or whatever it might be, when I'm building my wealth now and I'm going to be just fine in 3 or 5 years, right?
Yeah, I would say, like, but are you?
I know, right? But are you?
Explain to me your thinking there, right? You know, so now I feel like I'm talking to my husband. I'm just kidding.
I love that.
You know, break it down. But really what you want to think about is, one, you don't want all your eggs in one basket. Okay. Agreed. So business can be cyclical. And if we head into periods of time where there's a potential slowdown or something you didn't anticipate, right? Maybe you get cancer. I mean,
like March 2020.
Like March 2020, all of a sudden the world shuts down and we need to pivot. We need to be resilient and overcome that so business can continue. Yeah. We're headed into a period of time like that right now. We're headed into recession. We're headed into slowdown. Your business doesn't need to slow, but what got you here will not get you there. So understanding that is really critical, but then setting up those different buckets also give you the ability to observe the impact of economic change or business cycles so that you don't go out of business, so that you don't stress out. A lot of businesses fail, not because they aren't a good business model, but because of financial stress. So you don't want to be in that position. So you can create this moat for yourself to provide that grace and protection, so you have the ability to breathe and overcome anything that comes your way, as well as setting yourself up for success in the future. So if something doesn't work out, you've got that buffer or ability to move forward, because anything can happen. So it's up to us as the entrepreneur to create those protection mechanisms for life. So you never, the biggest mistake is to just assume it's all going to work out. We want to plan for the worst, hope for the best, and maybe it will. but creating all of these other things on the side is really, really critical. So, and it's great that every month that you are setting money aside. And a great way to do it truly is to create systems that are automated, that are out of sight, out of mind. And you guys do it percentage based too. So especially for a realtor, you never know what's coming in any given month, depending on when commissions hit and things close. And so what you can do is, as soon as something hits your bank account, before you think about it, put your percentage into one account for taxes, put your percentage into another for savings, another for retirement, and then to pay yourself, and so that way, if you get into, again, the habit, the routine, or maybe you have a bookkeeper doing this for you, which, eventually most of us will get there, you don't need to think about what's going where and how. You've got a designated area for everything, and it becomes more automatic. So you're really setting yourself up with those fundamental pieces to be recession proof, right?
Well, for me, my favorite phrase that you probably said was, don't put all your eggs in one basket, because it's so relatable. And we understand what that means. It's a phrase that's used often. And as entrepreneurs, many of us build multiple streams of income in our business or in different businesses. I've done that. I have 4. So when COVID stopped and my commercial real estate came to a halt because all my clients were doing the wait and see, it's commercial real estate, everything else was still moving.
Right.
And when that happens, Crazy Galit also started 2 new businesses in March, one in March 2020, one in March 2021.
The best time to start a business.
Yeah. And I want those that are listening and watching, before Nicholle shares how to get a hold of her, how to learn more about working with her, I really want you to think about, if tomorrow your initial stream of income stops, are you okay? And how long are you okay for? And I want you to really wrap your head around that, because with what happened in March 2020, and not going to get into that because it's in the past, I know people that were couples that were each making mid six figures, that both lost their jobs, had to sell everything, move into an apartment, and had nothing and had to start over. One of the things Nicholle teaches is how to avoid that. Life happens, things happen, but there's a way to today to protect yourself in ways, like Nicholle said, where you barely will feel it. But when that happens, and when I say barely feel it, I mean the money, I swear, Nicholle, I don't even feel it coming out of my account. It's crazy. It's just set up automatic. I get my statements every month. I'm happy. So I really want anyone that's listening and watching to take that to heart, because even those of us that are doing well, when everything stops, the unknown is unknown. You just don't know. So I appreciate you giving them some really realistic tips and opinions, because those are important as well from both of us. So that way, maybe those listening and watching say, wait, I need to reach out to someone so they can help me and show me how I can build what you're talking about, which is what you do. So please share with everybody how they can get a hold of you, what you do, so they can reach out.
Sure. So a great way to connect is on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is POW Her House Money. We really encourage listeners to shoot us a DM, and in our bio, we have a link that goes to everything. So I can help as far as on the financial side, helping in a financial advisor capacity, depending on what you may need there, whether it's setting up your retirement accounts or really reverse engineering that true financial plan from the other side of the board, and really working on the coaching, the money coaching, the business coaching, the mindset, the habits, the behaviors, the structure, getting ready to scale. So it really just depends where you are in this moment. We meet you there, and we get you to the finish line of just owning your future and living that life you deserve.
Oh, I love that. Owning the future and living the life you deserve. If you don't leave with anything today, ladies and the gentlemen that support us, please, please, please write that down and follow through. Don't listen to this episode and, oh, yeah, I'm good. Reach out to Nicholle, learn more, take control of your future. That was something Nicholle mentioned to me off camera. I love that. Take control of your wealth building and your future, and make sure that you are taken care of, because as women, we're always taking care of everybody else. Right, Nicholle?
Right. You
But
are
it's
worth
not.
the effort. Yeah.
Yes, it's you. Say that again.
I said you are worth the effort. Like you are a priority so that you can take care of everybody else. Like
Right. Make yourself a priority.
That's right.
Make yourself. It's time, ladies. It's time.
Mhm.
Well, Nicholle, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate all of your expertise. I know you've been doing this for quite some time and you know what you're talking about. So I appreciate you coming on, especially during these times. It's a great topic for us to be able to share with the audience. And I appreciate you coming on.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to everyone watching and listening. We appreciate you. My name is Galit Ventura-Rozen, and I will see you next time. Bye.